Fox News alert now. Iran's supreme leader is reportedly opening the door to negotiations with the U.S. over their rogue nuclear program. It comes on the heels of the IDF and Iranian proxy group Hezbollah trading heavy rocket fire over the weekend with Israel. Chief correspondent, foreign correspondent Trey Ying is in Tel Aviv. Trey, set the table.
Yeah, hey, Brian, good morning. We are tracking these comments from Iran's supreme leader today out of Tehran, indicating the Islamic Republic would be open to conversations with the American administration about the country's nuclear program. Look, the reality on the ground is that Iran is continuing provocative activity across the region, and there's no evidence to support these statements that they're actually open to de-escalating or changing the country's nuclear program. They're still enriching uranium close to weapons-grade material and pursuing a nuclear weapon. We're also following developments out of Cairo, Egypt today as low-level negotiating teams are continuing the conversations about the possibility of a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. The conversations, according to the Biden administration, are moving forward with minor details being discussed, such as the names of Palestinian prisoners that would be exchanged for Israeli hostages. But Hamas has rejected the current round of talks, saying that the terms have changed from what the group agreed upon last month. With the war grinding on, new evacuation orders were given to Palestinians in central Gaza yesterday. These evacuation orders do include a hospital that houses wounded Gazans. The war in Gaza continues amid the backdrop of ongoing tension on Israel's northern border. The Israelis released new video of their preemptive strikes over the weekend that targeted Hezbollah. The exchange of fire remains a daily event with fresh Israeli strikes on Monday and overnight, along with rocket and drone alerts sounding in northern Israel. Officials here do try to pursue diplomatic efforts to avoid a broader regional war, but so far those efforts have been unsuccessful. We're also tracking one other story with major developments expected later today. We're not quite ready to report that news out of Gaza yet, but stay tuned later today. Brian?
Okay, Trey, we'll look forward to that. Thanks so much. Back to the brand new reporting this morning that Iran's supreme leader is saying there's, quote, no barrier to engaging in negotiations with the U.S. over their nuclear program. Let's bring in Fox News contributor, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Mr. Secretary, what do you think the Grand Ayatollah is up to? Should he be taken at face value?
Well, Brian, I suspect that he wants to return to the negotiations with the Biden administration. We should all remember the Biden administration was in nuclear negotiations with the Iranians for the first couple years of their administration before the Iranians walked away after we'd given them nearly everything they wanted. And you can now see the net result. They are closer to having enough enriched uranium to build a weapon, and I think likely closer to building that weapon than they have ever been, because President Biden has refused to enforce sanctions. And so when he says, I want to reengage, it's probably with President Biden, or if he's lucky, President Harris, where he can roll the United States again, just as they did back in 2015, and have some charade of an agreement, which they have no intention of actually complying with. They cheated the entire time the nuclear agreement with the United States and Europe, between the United States, Europe, and Iran was in place, and they'll cheat again. They are intent on continuing to be the world's largest state sponsor and terror you, and you only need to look at the last week's activities to validate that.
All right, I got some good news. Let's share it. Hear it together from Reuters. Israeli military says a hostage kidnapped October 7th was just rescued in Gaza. So it's been hard getting them out. Negotiations got a few out now through just great intelligence. So that's good news, and it sounds like that is still alive. Let's fast forward to 3 years ago yesterday, the explosion at Abbey Gate that killed 13 and wounded dozens more Americans. President Trump played the role as president yesterday. Not a vice president, not a president showed up to lay a wreath. He talked about what he would do if he wins in November.
We'll get the resignations of every single senior official who touched the Afghanistan calamity to be on my desk at noon on Inauguration Day. You know, you have to fire people. You have to fire people when they do a bad job.
We never found out who was responsible. We killed the wrong person, loading water jugs into his car. And the president never talks about it. He never read the after-action report that was put together for him. Do you back up the former president with that statement?
Brian, that sentiment is spot on. The absence of accountability associated with the death of 13 Americans that day, the total calamity from a foreign policy perspective that ensued, all the injuries. We don't talk about all those others who were injured there and all the American equipment and people that were left behind. This was indecent. There's been no accountability. I would just remind everyone, in the end, the folks who were most accountable for what happened that day were Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. She said she was the last person in the room with him. She is deeply responsible for the decision. Brian, the decision that they knew would result in exactly what resulted. They knew it would be a calamity. They made the choice anyway. They chose to do it for political reasons, and that is immoral and indecent, and no one's been held accountable. We need to hold those political leaders most accountable.
So Joe Biden was nowhere to be found. He went from one beach to the next. The vice president made a statement yesterday. She says, as I have said, President Biden made the courageous and right decision to end America's longest war. Oh, by the way, President Biden made it. I thought she was the last one there. Over the past 3 years, our administration has demonstrated we can still eliminate terrorists, including the leaders of al-Qaeda and ISIS, without troops deployment in the combat zones. You talk to any intel expert. It's been disastrous. We lost our eyes and ears on the ground with all these terror networks. It is now worse than ever before prior to 9/11. And she's claiming because they took out she took out one terrorist that we have over-the-horizon capability soon. What's the reality as the former CIA director?
Vice President Harris has no idea what she's talking about. It is more dangerous there today for the United States of America, let alone for the women in Afghanistan. But for the United States of America, the terror risk in Afghanistan and in Central Asia more broadly is much greater today because of what she did and what President Biden did. We lost Bagram, an important strategic asset. I can tell the American people this. President Trump and I understood what needed to be done. We wanted to get our young men and women home, but we needed to do it in a way that continued to protect America from threats of terror in Afghanistan. And the Biden administration threw up their hands, ran away, and now it's created enormous terror risk. And Vice President Harris's statement is just fundamentally not true.
Right, and I think she must know it. She's trying to divorce herself from it. And, Ms. Secretary, this is not the deal you guys cut when you left. They had a whole, this was not the deal, anything that would look like that. Thanks so much. Appreciate seeing you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.